I'd take the Medicaid dollars that come to Illinois today, I'd bundle them as a block grant, give the money to Illinois and say, you care for the people as you feel best with your own dollars. Thank you. There's a man back there with a white beard and a white shirt. It's not quite white, that beard. It's gray. I apologize. I don't mean to be adding a couple of years to your age.
Thank you. Are you going to drill for oil in America?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, we've got oil in North Dakota. It's I heard the president the other day say, you know, we've only got 2% of the world's oil reserves. We're in real trouble. We use 20% of the energy and only 2%. Well, he knows better than that. He knows that beyond our official reserves are massive amounts of oil that are not yet being produced, that we have access to, that there's an enormous amount of oil we could find if we opened up federal lands and waters for exploration. In North Dakota, for instance, a gentleman there named Harold Ham drilled, I think he said, 16 dry holes looking for oil. Finally found some. The find there is about 20 billion gallons, 20 billion barrels, which happens to equal the total amount in our current supposed oil reserves. We have oil across this country and under our ocean. And so I'm going to drill in North Dakota. We're going to drill in the ANWR in Alaska. We're going to drill in the Outer Continental Shelf. We're going to drill in the Gulf of Mexico. And natural gas, by the way. There's new technology, which we've always been able to drill vertically. Now we can go vertically and then go horizontally. And we can tap in very deep to pockets of oil and gas. And as a result of that, we've got about 100 years of natural gas supply. And by the way, if you haven't checked, natural gas is much, much cheaper on a comparable basis than oil because of this huge supply. Let's get that gas piped. Let's pipeline that gas to our transportation centers, to our hubs for vehicles that run around in cities and for some long-haul trucks, perhaps for people who want to have a natural gas vehicle. We have opportunities that are not being taken advantage of. And by the way, let's, of course, bring that pipeline in from Canada. The Keystone Pipeline ought to be brought into the country. And I know this will have a moderating price impact, but it'll also take hundreds of billions of dollars that we're now sending out to people who in many cases don't like us, and that money will stay here. And you put hundreds of billions of dollars back into this country each year, and you encourage people to buy stuff, to save, and that puts people to work. Let's make America work. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Hi.
I'd like to ask you about the executive order that was just signed this past Friday that allows the government to confiscate property and personal possessions and not during an act of war. Isn't this a legalized way to allow martial law? And how can the executive branch get away with something like this in the United States of America?
Yeah, thank you. I have not seen that executive order, so I'm afraid I can't speak to the specifics of that executive order. Congressman, he isn't familiar with it either, so I'll look at the particular order. But I can tell you that I saw something, I think it was on ABC, it was on Fox with John Stossel the other day, where he followed a couple in Idaho. Did you see this, where they purchased a little piece of land? This was a couple that was hoping to build a small home on their piece of land in a residential community, and an EPA regulator came in as they broke ground in their property and told them you can't build here because it's wetland. And they said, well, this is not on the wetland register. It doesn't show it on any plot plan here. I said, well, that's too bad. It's wetland. And they were told they had no legal recourse. They couldn't go to the courts. This is the EPA regulator's final decision, and they simply can't build on their own land. This kind of overreach by regulators reminds you about those old jokes from years ago that people weren't safe when Congress was in session. We're not safe at all right now when you have regulators that are on the prowl. And we got too many regulators interfering too dramatically in our lives. I'll take a look at this particular executive order, but this is an attack. This is an attack on America's economic freedom and personal freedom. And don't forget, this is not just some ethereal concept of freedom. Freedom is what powers our economy and puts us to work. A strong economy is what allows us to have a military that can protect us. A strong economy is what allows our kids to have good jobs and bright prospects. A strong economy is what allows us to afford education and health care. We need a strong economy, and a strong economy is dependent upon economic freedom. And every attack on freedom and economic freedom imperils the future of this country. It must stop. If I'm the president, it will stop. You might think I'm going to go on forever tonight, but I'm not going to. I will also stop right now, but I want to say thank you to you for your support, for your help. I look forward to saying hello to you. You guys are the best for being here. I can't get over the huge audience, the great support. Get out and vote tomorrow. I need your help. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.